You know, it's kind of funny how so many things nowadays have a habit of coming full circle. Back in 2010, which is a goddamn century in YouTube time, I made a video discussing my preliminary thoughts on Hollywood adapting Death Note for the American audiences. For a lot of the old school subscribers in the room, you guys might recall this is from, we're taking it way back, when Zac Efron was rumored to be playing Light Yagami and all these other crazy Disney casting choices that people would throw out. And in that video, I didn't really talk so much about doom and gloom and speculation. I talked more about how Hollywood could perfectly adapt these stories by doing one simple thing, and that is honoring the source material. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a comic book, a video game, a novel. If you have true passion for what you're adapting, you can make it work in another medium. And it's just so funny that since then, almost a decade, we've seen so many great adaptations come out. We just can't seem to nail Death Note. Nobody seems to understand Death Note nowadays. Not in America, not in Japan, not in Korea. Nobody gets this shit. But fuck it, we gotta talk about it, because this is a rant 7 years in the making. I wanted to be proven wrong at the end of the day when it comes to these sort of things. I know it's like a losing battle when it comes to these adaptations. Whether it be video games or anime, you're just not gonna win. I understand that. But for once, I just thought to myself, maybe this could be the one. And it wasn't. It freaking wasn't. So I'm not really gonna fluff this review out more than I already have, but I do want to address two things before we get into the actual meat and potatoes. Two things that this movie was kind of been marred with controversy over. First and foremost, we got to address it, the whitewashing. I'm not really going to get into specifics of things, and I know people will break down how, Death Note is not intrinsically a Japanese story, and you can adapt it anywhere, provided you keep it to the source. But I will say this, to all the people out there who are crying for diversity representation, this is not the hill you want to die on. Not for this movie, and not for Ghost in the Shell. You guys, no. Pick your battles, because if not, you're about to crap out. This is not the hill you want to die on. Please. There's so many other problems plaguing this movie other than its whitewashing controversy. Second, I want to, I'm not going to speak specifically on it right now, but to all the cats out there who were, trying to pull this whole adaption card, it means you can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. Y'all about to take all the L's in this fucking video. So let's get into this review. Netflix's Death Note adaptation, directed by Adam Wingard, who's made a shit ton of shitty films before. It's got a shitty cast of people for the most part. It's got shitty writers attached to it. How could this have gone wrong? Well, all the aforementioned stuff I just mentioned, but let's get a bit more specific with this movie. For all the people out there who are going to pull the adaptation card, it doesn't matter if a movie or a video game or a comic sucks, because at the end of the day, it is another person's interpretation, and you have to take liberties with the source material. And can we just stop using this as a crutch? Okay, listen, it's 2017. We have the fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe. We have Wonder Woman out there. We have great movies like fucking Dread 2012, Karl Urban. We have these movies that prove if you actually take pride in the source material, you can bring in new fans without alienating the old fans. Why is that so hard to do? Why do we need to make excuses? Why do we need to say just because it's a different medium, that means we have to make such crazy... Just because something's an adaptation does not mean you can take literally what makes the series what it is, rip it out, change it so it doesn't even resemble what it is, and then slap the name on it to sell. That's not what an adaptation is. At the end of the day, an adaptation should be able to stand face, toe-to-toe, see eye-to-eye with its original source. Sure, there are going to be some differences, obviously, when adapting it, but if you are changing legit character personalities, their motivations, entire plot lines, just throwing them out, or just trying to bunch everything up together into a 90-minute movie, that is not how you adapt something. And that's the biggest problem with the Death Note movie right now. This Death Note movie it doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be a freaking coming of age teenage story? Does it want to be this intense criminal crime drama? Does it want to be the Death Note manga condensed in a 90-minute movie? It has no soul, it has no heart, it has no identity, and it can't fucking breathe at the end of the day. There are so many problems plaguing this movie that it's just insane. Like how somebody watched this movie. Somebody okayed the things in this movie. And it was just like, go ahead, do it, it's perfect. When so many things don't make sense. So, let's start with the characters first and foremost. Let's start with this motherfucker, Light Turner. No, it's not Light Yagami, he's Light Turner. Because this Light is the American version of Light. But at the end of the day, he's still Light Yagami. No, the fuck he is not. You do not need to watch more than 2 minutes of this movie to see how badly they screwed up Light Yagami. I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to be facetious, trying to make a joke for YouTube clicks. Yeah. No, I'm not. This guy acts nothing like Light. I don't want to be the guy that says, well, in the anime and manga, this, that, and the third, but fuck it, I am going to, because there's a reason why Death Note is such an awesome series. Or, well, it was for the first 25 episodes, and then it gets kind of weird. The reason why we love Death Note is because it's about this character of Light who is so unlike all the other characters around in the usual, anime manga medium. Okay, this is this guy who, he's this genius, he's this prodigy, but at the end of the day, he has this dark, sadistic side that as you watch the series, you see it grow and develop, and at the end of the day, you're kind of wondering to yourself, am I still rooting for Light, or do I want him to get captured? You don't know, because Death Note, what makes it so amazing is that it kind of blurs the line between, this guy's interpretation of justice and that guy's interpretation of justice and morality and mortality and all these crazy things. And it's awesome because of it. And the reason why we love Light is because, we're looking into the show through his eyes and we're seeing how he gets himself out of these situations, all while maintaining a calm, cool, level head. That is one of the best parts about it. In this movie, Light Turner is anything but that. This dude, oh my god, so this dude is just sitting here, right? The movie is introduced. This dude's over here, writing down answers to math problems and selling it to people. This is how they... Oh, did I mention there's gonna be spoilers in this review? Oh, well, spoilers. Don't watch this fucking movie anyway. This is his idea, their idea of how Light is a genius, by him doing people's fucking math homework or stealing the test answers or whatever and selling it to people, okay? And he's over here and he's got this crush on this one cheerleader chick named Mia Sutton, who's supposed to be their version of Misa Amane. Get it? Misa. We gonna drop that fucking S right there and Americanize that too. Yeah. Mia Sutton, who's this too cool for school looking cheerleader who, they had to point out the fact that she smokes. Because, yeah. And so this dude Light is over here minding his own business. He sees someone getting bullied and then, the normal thing to do would be to step in. But no, Mia actually steps in to stop the bullying. And the bully tries to step on her. And then Light, this is where this movie gets so fucking corny. This dude Light goes in there and in the most corny and forced way possible, he's like, "Get your fucking catcher!" Like he's fucking Piccolo trying to defend Gohan from Nappa's damn mouth blast or whatever. It is so damn cheesy, man. And then he's trying to step up onto the bully and he says this stupid ass corny, like I'm a fucking nerd, but this guy says some lame ass nerd shit like, it's the equivalent of, "I know you're stupid, but then what am I?" Like that type of shit. And he gets decked and he gets detention because they found the math problems, fell out of his backpack and just some dumb shit like that. It's like, so this is Light Yagami. They said at the very end of this movie, you will leave and you will see that Light Turner is in fact Light Yagami. In the first 3 minutes of the movie, we see that this dude is a pansy, this dude is a bitch, this dude is a whiner. You don't believe that he could be this cold, calm, cool, manipulative, calculative dude. You don't see that at all. And can we just talk about the fact that literally the Death Note falls right at his damn fingertips. I'm not even joking. So where I'm sitting right now, the Death Note, right? This is the Death Note, right there. Oh, wow, this Death Note just happens to fall right here. And this dude Light is just... They keep saying that this motherfucker is a genius, but this dude does some stupid ass shit in this movie. So much to the point where you're just like, everybody in this movie must be fucking retarded to not know that this guy is Kira. Because this dude will openly talk about the Death Note in public to Mia. This dude is sitting there reading the Death Note in public. This dude, he's so dumb. He's so dumb. What did they do to Light? I'm not even joking here. The things that will come out of this dude's mouth, it's just like, how did people not know your Kira? One of the best parts about the Death Note series is that Light would always be the complete polar opposite of Kira when he needed to be. Like whenever he's talking to his family or talking to the task force, he would be acting like a person who is trying to catch Kira, not a person who's like, teetering on, oh, is he not Kira? In this movie, it's just so painfully obvious, man. It's like not even a joke. And can we talk about the fact that this dude Light, remember how I mentioned he does shit like opening the Death Note in public? This dude Light was sitting in a school gymnasium reading the fucking Death Note. And then, Mia Sutin comes over his way because obviously this chick has a hard-on for him or something because they saw each other earlier in the movie. Nobody knows why. This romance is so fucking forced. She comes over and she starts talking and she's just like, oh, what's that? Your Death Note? He's like, Death Note? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. The dumb nigga stance that Kevin Hart did. And he shows her the Death Note. Right there. Literally right there in public. Tells her everything about it. He does not know this chick at all. He shows her the Death Note and brings her into this world after he's killed one person. The best part about the Death Note story was that it was a Light-centric story for the longest. And when you found out that there were other people out there with his powers, or they knew that he was Kira and knew what he was doing, it created this sense of mystery. This tension was in the air. You're just like, who knows that I'm Kira? Who knows that I'm able to do this? It added so many layers of depth to this story. It was awesome. But in this, he freaking shows her what the Death Note is after their first encounter. And they're just classmates. They barely know each other. They probably said 3 words to each other before he showed her the Death Note. And then from there, they start a romance. And it's supposed to be beautiful and divine beauty of annihilation. We'll just make a better world together. You cannot make this up. That is their whole motivation for getting together. Literally that. Because they can kill people together. See, unlike the story in the manga and anime, Light is a very manipulative son of a bitch. Because Light wants to utilize Misa's power and the fact that she has the Shinigami eyes and the fact that she's a second Kira, a Kira that he can control, to help play his cat and mouse game with L. In this, you don't get that at all. You don't even get a reference to the Shinigami eyes. Nope. She's just some, Kira 2 that helps him write Death Note names when they're eating popcorn together on a Friday night. Yeah, just chilling. We're studying for calculus, and we might as well just write a name or two, you know what I'm saying? Y'all think I'm joking, but I'm not. That's how bad this shit gets. It's just so stupid. And this is all stemming from Light's character. Never throughout this movie did I ever get the feeling that, damn, this is going to be the cold-hearted, ruthless, manipulative bastard that I've grown to love for the first 25 episodes of the anime. Who teeters on the edge of right and wrong, of, sadistic justice or righteous justice. Never in this movie. It's so much to the point where I think they actually devolved Light's character to prop up Mia Sutin, because they didn't want to make her, let's just be real, Misa Amane was a damn bimbo in the series, but they didn't want to make her the complete bimbo and the heart, heart on her sleeve type chick. they actually merged some of Light's elements into her, because later on in the story, Light gets so freaking like, I don't know if I should do this anymore. I can't, because, this guy L is coming after me. Maybe we should stop. I don't think Kita would do this. And she was just like, man up, dude. We got a world to clean up. And I was just like, why is Mia Sutton acting more like Light than Light is? It gets that ridiculous. But, we're going to step away from Light for a second. Let's talk about some of the other things in the movie. Ryuk? I didn't really have too many problems with Ryuk, outside the fact that we barely see him in the movie. He's not really in it for a long time, and when he is, he's always in the shadows, and I don't know if it's because they didn't have a big budget on this movie. It was $40 million. I don't know what the fuck they spent the $40 million on. Probably paying Willem Dafoe. But, like, when he's in the movie and stuff, he just does what he's supposed to do. Like, and Willem Dafoe is a great actor, so yeah, like, for what he had to work with, it was cool. But my biggest problem with Ryuk is that he's never been, he's not the comedic observer like he is in the series. He's some dude who starts out by influencing Light into doing this. Like, he's been egging him on this whole time. Whereas in the series, Ryuk is always just like, yo, I don't care what you do, man. At the end of the day, I'll write your name down in my death note. That's it, man. You just keep me entertained. In this movie, he's just like teetering on the edge of influencing Light, and then, trying to be the comedic guy in the series. It's all over the place, man. But for what he had to work with, Ryuk, he was okay. He was alright, man. Whatever. One of my least concerns in the movie. Now, let's move on to Lakeith Stanfield as L. Now, this is where it gets really funny, because in the beginning of the movie, when not the beginning of the movie, he shows up like 30 minutes in. When he shows up in the movie, I was actually kind of impressed, because he was acting a lot like L. He's got the weird mannerisms of L. He be sitting in the chair like this, and the way he be teetering on, around the crime scenes and stuff. It's very L-like. And like, he's got the candy obsession and everything. He's just got his L traits, and it's very quirky. So I'm just like, yo, they actually understand the character of L and the way he's interacting with, like, members of authority and such. He's just the lovable, blunt L. But then it takes a turn for the worst halfway in the movie, where they start making him do dumb shit, like holding press conferences out of the blue, like in person, and, just other stuff. Like, they literally take the character of L, and I'm gonna stop sitting like this because it's getting kind of uncomfortable. They take the character of L, and they make him an emotional train wreck. One of the beautiful things about the character of L is that he showed emotions in his own particular way. Whereas some people would react to the death of a character as such, L would react to it differently. He has a different way of thinking about things. So the things that would get other people riled up, L would still be very calm and collected about it. Just like Light, they're two sides of the same fucking coin. They just go about doing their things differently. And they kind of nailed it in the beginning of the movie, and then he just becomes an insane train wreck who doesn't even think. Like, for clarification, he got Light level dumb after episode 25. Like, when Light was like, I'm the god of the new world, and, when Nier and Mello came to the mix, and Light started to make some stupid-ass decisions. Yeah, L got that dumb probably 10 minutes after he debuted in the movie, which was such a shame, because Lakeith Stanfield did a great job in the beginning. I was like, yo, I believe it. This is L, man. Yes. And then he just gets so stupid, and it gets worse and worse and worse with this character, to the point where I'm just like, what are you doing? And then it gets even worse. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that. And can we talk about the fact that this movie is so damn rushed? Like, everything involving the characters is like some of the good stuff, some of the good scenes with L, they don't give it a chance to breathe. They literally, I'm not even joking, they try to rush and force so many aspects of the story into a 90-minute movie. The whole Lind L. Taylor thing, the whole FBI agents thing, the whole, we're gonna put Light under surveillance thing, just like all these things that existed in the first 25 episodes of the anime, the things that you really needed time scenes to breathe that were really interesting. They just rush it, and Elle has so many scenes of off-screen detective wizardry that you're just like, wait, what? Like, for example, you remember how in the series, how Elle deduced that Kira was actually in Japan and not a worldwide menace? In the movie, it was just like an offhanded comment like, yeah, I just planted some seeds here, and, through this thing, we concluded that Kira was actually in Seattle, because this was only broadcast in Seattle. It wasn't this elaborate ruse that Elle had set up in this series, where you were just like, oh shit, this nigga's legit, and that was the first time we'd seen what Elle can do in the series. Here it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna come to this conclusion. And it's just such a fucking pain, because I know that this thing could have been done right. But no, they had to rush and force everything into this fucking 90-minute movie that you're just left wondering what could have freaking been. Like a Netflix series, Death Note, merge that shit together. It should have been amazing in so many ways. But this is what we got freaking saddled with. And it's a fucking pain, because this movie has no soul. It has no heart. It has no originality to it. At the end of the day, it's fucking generic. None of these characters are memorable. None of them stick out what they're doing. Fucking Light's dad, he's still a cop, but he doesn't have like the whole dichotomy and the relationship that existed between Light and his father in the series was so awesome, because his father, has to deal with his son potentially being Kira while trying to uphold the law, and then Light has to deal with the intense struggle of him being Kira and his father trying to trace him down at every move, and it was just so cool. And in this series, you don't really get that at all. They just have one conversation like, oh, I heard that, you've been working late. Yeah, I'm on this task force now. Task force? Literally that they do off screen. Oh yeah, there is no task force, by the way. There's no, none of that. No interesting things. No interesting detective stories. None of that. It's not in the movie. Everything just gets so rushed, and Elle deduces that Light is Kira because yeah. And it just gets so freaking dumb, man. And then we get to the fucking ending of the movie. The ending is where things just... If you think things couldn't get bad already... Alright. Now... We all know that Death Note is a supernatural story, so of course the Death Note shit gets kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, they take some liberties with how they kill people, and Light's genius and expertise and all that stuff, but the shit that they do in this movie, okay, first things first, they make up new rules for the Death Notes. They make up rules specifically so they could do certain things in the movie that they think they're so clever and witty, and it's like, we're gonna make this new rule and we're gonna apply it here because it's gonna happen like 40 minutes into the movie, but that shit doesn't make any sense to begin with. They just made the new rules for the sake of. What was so wrong with using the established rules and building stories around that? Apparently, that was too much of a problem. But the reason why I bring this up is because halfway through the movie, there has to be conflict, of course. Light and Mia start fighting because Light is questioning whether or not he should still do this Kita stuff, and it's getting out of control, and Mia's like, no, we must become the gods of the new world, and all this stuff, because she wanted to kill Light's dad because he egged her on or whatever. It's like the scene where they had Lind L. Taylor, and Light was just like forced to kill him because he was egging him on. Like, they had that scene. They wanted to kill the Kita's dad for no other reason than the fact that, because we can. He was making fun of us. Like, really? Are you fucking serious? You're gonna kill his dad? Like, she does this complete 180 in her personality. There's no development to it whatsoever. And it's just so freaking ham-fisted in there. So much to the point where she fucking ends up being the main antagonist of the movie. She ends up being the person that mysteriously kills all these FBI agents. Because at first, Light thought it was Ryuk, because Light, didn't kill the people himself. So who could have killed them? Oh, must have been Ryuk. Yeah. But she ends up being the one who killed them, and she's basically just like, Light, you're my bitch. Go get my Death Note. Light is a fucking cuck in this movie, man. I don't even use that term. But he is, man. Fucking Mia Suten's got the strap on, and she's going to work on him, bro. That's how ridiculous this movie is. And then it gets so convoluted with the ending on how Light ends up outsmarting her at the end of the day. And just, it gets to the point where they literally... They stretch the limits of what the Death Note can do to a comical point. You're just sitting there like, okay, I watch anime, and even that is going way too far. Like, I'm not even joking. You really have to see this to believe it. But they try to play it off as, oh, Light is this clever individual. So he would come up with this thing in the last 5 minutes of the movie. In the last 5 minutes of the movie, they try to pull a classic Light Yagami move. But it is so unearned that it's not even funny. It's so freaking forced. And his dad deduces that Light is in fact Kira because Kira's first actual victim was the murderer of Light's mom, which happened off screen, and we're supposed to care. Okay, can we be real about life for a second? Like, in the Japanese live action movies, in the Korean drama, and now here, why does Light need to have a reason to kill? Like in the Japanese movies, he was just so angry that there was no justice in the world and all these criminals got away. And then the Korean drama, I think, did something similar with his mom dying or whatever. And this movie, he wants to get revenge on his mom's killer. And it's just like, Light in the series didn't develop this whole sick, warped view of justice until later on. Like, he wanted to take, justice, like dole out justice on these criminals, but it was never like, I need to do this, like, that didn't happen until later on, and where he starts getting kind of cuckoo. So in this movie, his dad finding out that he's Kira just ruins the entire, like, development that could have been. And, it also ruins, like, potential sequels. Because now that his dad knows, it's just like, oh, okay, so what, is his dad going to protect him all this time until Kira doesn't find him useful? I know this review is all over the place. I really do. But this is what this movie made me feel. This movie is a prime example of literally taking an established franchise, doing whatever the hell you want to it, sprinkling in a couple of things, some nods to the fans like L eating candy, and calling it Death Note. That's literally all it is. Light's intelligence, his genius, gone. The intense psychological cat and mouse game between L and Light's version of justice, gone. Like, all the crazy subplots that existed in Death Note and the relationships between the characters, gone. But we got Willem Dafoe as Ryuk, so it's all cool, right? No, it's not. It really isn't. Don't see this movie. Don't waste the bandwidth. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.